Hey, you guys. It's the Pulse, and we're super excited today because we're in the spot. We're here. We just celebrated Juneteenth, and we're going to be talking about all the stuff we did over Juneteenth. But you know, you guys, we got to party, and we got to always do it big. So we're here with who? Other than Dre and Armani. We're excited because it's our final and last show of the season. It's time to party for the summer, and what y'all going to be doing. So I want y'all to like, comment, share. Tell us what you guys got going on.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Armani. What you got going on this weekend?
Right. Well, for Juneteenth, I had a really great time. I went out to Annapolis. They had a festival. It was a really great time because it was just so many different people out there. We just had different types of stuff that they had. They had like a concert, different performances. I was able to be a part of the performance. I did a spoken word piece. And I was dressed in my little African dress. It was so fun, but then at the same time, it was really hot. So
right.
I was just like, oh my gosh, I needed to get one of them little African fans from one of the shops. I ended up buying it last, like at the very last minute.
At the very end, after you spent the whole
I saw your pictures. I liked it.
I was just going to say, I saw the pictures on your Instagram story.
What did you do? What did you do, though? Did you speak?
Yeah, I did a spoken word performance, and then I was a griot. The word griot is in Africa is a storyteller, but I wasn't able to do like the storytelling because I was invited last minute, but I was able to be at the part where it's called Freedom Way. It was a pictorial display of all the different just different things talking about Juneteenth. It was created by Apostle Craig Coates, and he put it all together. It was like a little like different boards with different pictures and information about Juneteenth, and a lot of people took pictures. It was really nice. Like I enjoyed it. So that was my first time ever going to a festival with a whole bunch of Black people. We having a good time. I felt like a kid at Disneyland. I truly did.
I think that's a great way to celebrate Juneteenth.
Definitely.
I think I wish you would have invited me. I would have been more than willing to come. I spent my Juneteenth.
What did you do? What did you do?
I spent my Juneteenth doing some reading, actually, and some research, and discovering more about Juneteenth and the history of the date, especially for our conversation tonight. I'm very excited. But if you don't mind sharing a story, you don't mind me sharing a story really quick, this weekend I had an interaction with one of my coworkers, and I'll keep it brief, but it essentially sparked me to learn more about Juneteenth because he in a way, he questioned the validity of the holiday. And I to an extent, I understand people's questioning, is a holiday enough? Is that just masking up and covering up and just being, a quick breeze and get by for Black people to distract us from getting the reparations and the equality that we truly deserve? And I get that. I totally understand that. But I do think there is, to some extent, something to be celebrated in even getting a small milestone like a holiday. Right. Somebody had mentioned earlier that this is the first national holiday to be created in the last federal holiday. Yeah, 35, 36 years. Exactly. So it's not something to just brush off and something to, exactly, take for nothing. It's very important, and it's very something that should be celebrated. And so I took this time to actually learn more about the holiday and learn more about the history of the abolition of slavery.
Definitely. And I was talking with my advisor for my fellowship. He's like a professor and all. He was like, some states, they have their own Freedom Day.
Yeah.
I know DC is not a state. It soon will be once they get their statehood, but they have their own Emancipation Day. Some other states have other Emancipation Days. So a lot of people kind of are like on the line, like, okay, Juneteenth is Juneteenth because everybody's starting to realize it. But I still think it's important to still recognize it regardless, because we owe it to ourselves to actually to be able to celebrate this holiday, this. So yeah. I feel like it's to me, it's important that it's recognized on a federal level, because some states were just like, no, like, we don't want y'all to know anything about this history. First of all, schools don't even educate our children on Black history, so we have to do it ourselves. And that's another thing that came up, talking about critical race theory and how race plays so many it comes into so many different things. Like, race is an essential part in a lot of things, like where people just what was it? I read an article where the guy was like, critical race theory is a myth, where because he's a black man and he worked hard to get where he's supposed to be, he does not believe that race plays any type of card when it comes to his opportunities, because he's worked hard. He's like, why can't other black people work just as hard as me? And I'm just like, okay, so critical race theory is important to know, because people like him are going to make you believe that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. Juneteenth is important to know. It's so many different things that people need to understand. So
yeah,
right.
for sure.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people don't even know that Juneteenth is celebrated after there was a 2 year period. Long story short, there was a 2 year period, and so there's of course many different states, like Armani was saying, even DC having their own Emancipation Day. There's many different states who celebrate on different days because they all received the notice of freedom, or they all received their freedoms at different times throughout that 2 years. So it's not just a one-time deal. And again, I think that's something that a lot of people just don't know. It's not something that people aren't, whatever the case may be, they just don't know. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the spreading education, again, that Armani was talking about, and something that we have to do ourselves, and, you know, educating our children and instilling that knowledge very early. And I think I had mentioned that last week, just instilling a drive for knowledge and a drive for learning, especially about Black history at a very young and early age.
I think it's extremely important to recognize how important it is that we continue to move forward. You know, that's just a small step. But since we're getting onto that note, how many of you agree or disagree with the immediate change in the atmosphere? How it went from Juneteenth is a federal holiday on Thursday, everybody gets off on Friday. Meanwhile, almost 50 states are passing laws to restrict people from voting.
Right. Definitely.
There's also
meanwhile, literally at the same time, passing laws to restrict people from voting. So, do you feel like we've been gaslighted?
Sure. I do feel like it's a bit of a cover up. Like Armani was saying about spreading education, there's laws being passed at the same time as this federal holiday being passed. There's laws being passed in different states that are restricting education and how they teach Black history. And we're talking so much about putting Black history in schools, but again, I think with that we have to think about it from all angles. We have to think about how Black history is taught in schools, because the same way they have always censored history, American history and history of Africa and the Middle East, and there's always been a censorship, and there's always been a certain lens through which we learn in American school systems. Right. And I think like I was saying, at the same time that they're passing federal holidays, they're also passing laws that are censoring and restricting how Black education is being taught in history and in schools, and how Black history is being taught in schools. So I think that there also has to be a push and a front for, I don't think censorship is the word I'm looking for, but for lack of better terms, I'm going to say censorship and the lens through which Black history is being taught.
I personally don't want, I don't want them to educate. Not that I don't want
to like to twist words. They do. You got to educate yourself.
Right. It's not that I don't want it in school education. I just don't want that to be the basis and the foundation of the education that I instill into my children. There was an episode on Grey's Anatomy when the Indian and I don't want Native American, my bad, Native American chief was in the hospital with COVID. And they were concerned because he was responsible for passing on the language in which was passed down generation to generation to generation. It was his responsibility. Why don't we have those type of things where there's, you know, it's our responsibility as maybe the mother of the church, or it's our responsibility as the leader in this particular community to get that information from one generation to the next generation. Why are we always like, oh, well, we got to get the school to do it? I personally don't. I've met the teachers and I love the school that my daughter goes to. I have no problem with the school. Out of all the schools in Glen Burnie, they always go all and beyond for their students. They go all the way out. Gave Callie a big old pack of books for the summer. But I would never expect not one of those teachers that I like to understand anything that me, my daughter, my son, my father, any of us have to face every day. because we don't have the same makeup. Period. We don't
Yep.
have the same makeup. We don't come from the same places, and I can tell that they don't have a full understanding. And that's
Right.
perfectly fine. They work with little brown kids every day. They work with little mixed brown kids every day, but they cannot, with full-hearted passion, express what's necessary for my children to understand. So
Right.
I don't put
Yeah,
it
there's
in
a level
there.
of subcontext and a level of like you just grew up knowing certain things as a black person and with and I don't mean that to say that all black people are the same, but there's a collective black experience that 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 affects the lens through which we teach and learn and explain things amongst ourselves. And I don't think there's a way that that can exactly be translated. I think that's a good point, Tania.
And not even just, and and it's interesting to me, only because
Mm,
when we're thinking about educating our children and educating people and in understanding from a level of what we come from. I saw a meme that stated they've been teaching that slavery basically didn't happen. So how are you going to explain that we were freed from it?
mm, mm.
Wow. Yeah.
How can you tell me that it didn't happen, but then in the same breath tell me I was freed from it?
Yeah, our education system is not to be trusted when it comes to
Ah,
our
I mean, but that's
history
the way
in
the government
particular. So that's
that's the way
why
the
it's
government and leaders
important.
have worked for a long time, and we're starting to see that now as we're becoming more
Yeah.
knowledgeable and more educated in how like things work in the background and how they work behind the scenes. They've always flipped their words and flipped the script and then lined up their words in just the way to fit whatever scenario and situation it needs to. That's how all leaders work. That's how all leaders have always worked. That's how you get people to
right.
follow you.
Check that comment out. But yes,
Yeah, this was good.
we definitely have to change the narrative. What I like when I do travel out of the country, what I like when I travel into different areas as well, is the pride in which those people have for
Mm-hmm.
whatever they have. And that's what we really do need to do when we change the narrative. We have to instill that pride
Yeah.
and I know I've said it before on this show that I don't like talking about African American history because most of the time we want to just start in America,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
No,
like I'm
exactly.
I don't African American history is fine, but I know that this is not where my whole entire family came from.
Yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
care. I might not know everything about everything, but I know that we didn't start on this continent.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. I don't need 23 and me to know that. So
Pastor, go
you
right
said
ahead, Sam. Go
what?
ahead. No, go right ahead.
But that's my thing. Like I want us to be thinking about, where we what's some information that we can really be instilling into them outside of that. But then
Mm-hmm.
when we're sitting here talking about Juneteenth and how excited we are and everybody, I celebrated Juneteenth last year, so boo. I have a picture. You don't believe me? I'll send it to you. I celebrated that shit last year, so I wasn't worried about federal, non-federal. I had a
Right. We're
good
gonna
time.
celebrate
I had a
regardless.
good time, even
Exactly.
though it's COVID. We still had fun. Couldn't go
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. Absolutely nowhere to go. Actually waited for food for 3 hours because there was nowhere to go with COVID. But that's my point. Like Juneteenth, that okay, great. But we have so much further to go. If you
Mm-hmm.
did you guys watch the video of that 16-year-old boy get ran over in
No, I
Baltimore
didn't
City?
No, I didn't.
about that. No.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to you too.
Wow.
The little boy, he's carjacked. He stole a car,
Mm-hmm.
which is a felony. So I feel like if somebody commits a felony, they've already written their ticket. I'm not messing with them. They done mess their own life up. You said felony, that's stuck on you.
Yeah.
That's stuck on you like glue. So, they're chasing him. He doesn't have no weapon, barely have any clothes, he's taking off his clothes, trying to get away from them. He's running from them. And when he's running from them, he goes down an alley. You know how alleys are in Baltimore. When he goes down the alley, the police officer stops. And he sees him running down the alley, but then he just decides to turn down the alley. And I promise you, ran over the boy and drug him. You watching it. You watching it from the helicopter. So even my dad said he hit him on purpose. End of story.
Wow. See, it's stuff like that, like,
Hit him on purpose.
that's horrible. And the thing is, I know when people were talking about Juneteenth, it was like, I saw another meme similar, but it was like, it was a dumb meme though, but like, it was like this boy, he was stepping over these steps and it had different, you know what I'm talking
I've
about,
seen
right?
that one.
It
I've
was
seen
like
that one.
reparations, stopping police brutality. It was like just different things that we've asked for, and then they stepped right over it onto Juneteenth on the one step that said Juneteenth. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense, because a lot of the stuff that we have that we've been asking for, they've just completely ignored, like the reparations part. Like, I just read an article, a mega church in Tulsa, Transformation Church with Pastor Mike Todd. He took his initiative, took the money that the church had, and gave reparations to some of the survivors of those families that died in the Tulsa massacre. And I'm just like, so you mean to tell me that the government couldn't do this, but a megachurch in a small city in Oklahoma could? That's crazy. That is, and I mean, it's not crazy at the same time, because it's like, I'm not surprised the government's not going to give us our reparations. As much as I would advocate for it, I don't think it's going to happen, because they're not going to give us our money.
But did we even ask for Juneteenth to be a federal holiday? Because I don't remember anybody saying
that
that.
was at the top of the list of priorities. I don't think that was one of the number one things you were asking for.
Right. I think because with Biden being in office, I know Miss Opal Lee. She's from Texas. She's known as the grandmother of Juneteenth, and she was advocating for Juneteenth to be recognized as a federal holiday. Last year, she was on. She sat on an interview with P. Diddy, and he was like, right. Out of all people, it's him. But she sat down on an interview and she was like, yes, we need 1 million signatures by next year, or 1 million signatures to pass the federal holiday for Juneteenth. And for some reason, it just came out of nowhere, because I didn't even know that they were even in it was in like the works at all. So I guess with Biden being in office and you got Kamala with, as the VP, I'm pretty sure they were like, okay, let's make the statement by boom, Juneteenth. And I'm just like, why?
But listen to what you just said. Let's make the statement. Let's make the statement. I don't want no statement. I want a change. I don't need you to say nothing. I don't need you to what's it called? What's the word when it be like, I don't need you to signify. I don't need you to signify. Bye. Get out of here. But on that note, we gotta go to break real quick, guys. I want you to like, comment, share. Tell us what you did this weekend. Tell us what you feel like they should have did. Do you feel like we're being gaslighted? If you talk to us, let us know. Make sure you're sharing this mostly, guys. And we'll be right back, okay?
Listen, you need to make sure you are subscribing to New Kingdom TV, because our new season is here beginning Monday, May 17th. But Tuesday night is the night you want to make sure you're watching. Tuesday night beginning this Tuesday, May 18th, we got our new show, Neil Nation. Tuesday Talk Together starts right here on New Kingdom TV at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays with Pastor Marcus and co-pastor Lisa. Man, we got this show is going to be off the hook. You're going to be talking about it all week long. Make sure you watch it. It begins this Tuesday, May 18th, here on New Kingdom TV. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook, where you can watch New Kingdom TV, where we say you can watch your dreams come to life.
Say my name. Black lives matter.
All right, you guys, we're back and we're here talking about Juneteenth. And the reason we're talking about it is because literally, like, soon as we got off last Tuesday, they decided to make it a holiday.
Yep. We pushed it out.
Were y'all listening to us? What were y'all doing? Was y'all eavesdropping? But yeah, no, they made it a holiday literally like half an hour after we got off on Tuesday. So we've been talking about everything that we did. I think it's pretty funny. The post office was closed on Friday, or the courthouse was closed on Friday. I saw a meme. It was like they closed the courthouse, so all my dudes can't even get out and celebrate being free.
Right.
Hey, slavery some kind of way, huh? Yeah, so it is what it is, and we were just talking about the fact that we didn't even ask for all that. We didn't ask for Juneteenth to be a federal holiday. We did, however, ask for equality. We did, however, ask for equity. We did, however, ask for reparations. We did, however, ask for the absence of police brutality. But we asked for that.
Yeah.
But you gave us whatever you felt like giving us. It happens sometimes. It's kind of like when you asked your mom for a Whopper in 1975 and she made you a Whopper with using Wonder Bread. That's kind of what happened.
Wow,
They gave us a Wonder Bread Whopper. But it's okay. On that note, we're trying to see what steps we can take to go forward. Jay said providing carrot on a stick tokens is a cheap tool for the wait strategy. We're not going to wait, by the way.
Yeah.
We've been waiting since 1865. Correct. I don't want my 40 acres and a mule anymore. I want 40 years of my son's life, no doubt. I want 40 plus years. I want 80 plus years, 90 plus years of my son's life with no doubts that he can walk the earth. That's the kind of stuff I want. I want $4 billion handed over to all the HBCUs. Why not?
Come on.
I want that kind of stuff. You can keep your mule. I don't like sticky animals anyway.
I don't know. I want my 40 acres and my mule. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody
I'll take
else.
the acres. I said I don't want the mule. I don't want that thing
anymore.
I feel like there's been so many things that have been put in our way and put against us as Black people and as you all as women in this country. I feel that there has been so many things that have been intentionally done by government that the government has no choice but to give us. They have to give us something to put us back in not even at an even playing place, because there's no way that we can do that, because that comes down to individual people and mindsets and societal mindsets, and that's never going to change overnight. But there has to be an overnight change to push for that to start. You know what I mean? Like the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It has to start somewhere, and there has to be like, I need a $1 million check in a new home, so that way I don't have to worry about car payments, and I don't have to worry about medical insurance, and I don't have like this. These are the things that Black people that affect Black people on every angle. You know what I mean? That affect us mentally, that affect us physically. We have to work excessively. We have there's too many things to name, but there has to be a giant first step to push the eventual change and shift in societal dynamic.
Right.
I think for sure that I was gonna pose a question. Do you guys think that the burden of like being able to uplift our community would be through Black celebrities who have money? Because I feel like, I'm just saying, if you got money, like, okay, no offense to Beyonce and Jay-Z, but I gotta say this. I don't care that you just bought it was like a couple $1 billion of a car. I know they've done their dues of helping some schools, but I know it's not the burden on them, but I just want to know what y'all think. Should it be the burden on our Black celebrities? Because the government ain't going to do it. Because apparently, like, as much as we tried, they just don't listen. So
there's 7 billion. Not 7 billion. It's 7 billionaires. Sorry. There are 7 Black billionaires. There are 7 Black billionaires.
If you have $1 billion in your pocket, in liquid assets, in whatever, if you have $1 billion, then you have not done enough. You have not given enough. You have not.
What more
There's
can
just
you
no
ask
way.
for?
There's
What
no
more?
way. You have too much in resources and in assets. You have not done enough. You have not given enough. You have not. There's no way, because you should not have that much in excess. Because there's no reason that we should have people who are billionaires and we also have people who are starving and don't know where they're going to sleep, what they're going to eat. That are people out it's pouring down raining the other day, and I was on the bus on my way home from work, and I'm complaining about the fact that I was on the bus on my way home from work, and then I have to think about my Black brothers and sisters who are in the streets, sleeping under a blanket and prayerfully under a tent, possibly if they're lucky, in the pouring down thunder and rain, praying that they will survive to the next day. And there are billionaires talking about advancing the Black community. You have not done enough. You have not given enough.
It's annoying. And then be charging people for their courses. I almost got trapped up in that because they try and get people into Forex and trading and whatnot. But you got to invest at least a couple thousand before you can make 100. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute now.
That's
it's always a catch, always a gimmick. It's never a given. And that is devastating.
It is.
To me, it is.
Horrible.
So they're currently putting in that child tax. I don't know if y'all are aware, because you two are, you guys are blessed to be waiting on the Lord. Continue to wait on the Lord.
A decade later till I have my own.
Hallelujah. But for those of us who have already been blessed with beautiful children, we have received a letter, most of us, saying, they're going to give me $300 for my kids a month. So you're going to tell me that it took COVID for you to worry about child poverty?
Oh, yeah. I tell you.
COVID is not that serious. I'm sorry. It has taken a lot of deaths, and I'm not going to say that it didn't do anything. I'm not going to say that. I'm vaccinated, folks. Vaccinated. Don't come for my life. But either way, COVID is not that serious for you to finally understand that there is child poverty.
It's been here for decades, and you just realizing it now.
And this is not even a permanent thing. They haven't decided to make it permanent. But for right now, they're gonna give parents $300 for their youngest children, and then $250 for their little bit older kids, and then $200 for their little bit older kids. Now, all of a sudden. So to me, it's just like, if we can do these things, then why haven't they been done? And why aren't they doing on a greater scale? Like, if the government is going to be sending out these little bitty checks, our 7 billionaires could have been sending out these little bitty checks.
Because if everybody
could have built, even if these 7 billionaires just built up areas in which have been broken down. I go to Baltimore every single day. I'm in Baltimore every single day, except Sunday. If I'm lucky, I get to stay home that day. But on every single day, I am out there looking at Baltimore that is torn apart. How many people have taken their little self to Hollywood from Baltimore and never came back?
Yeah, never look back. You never look back. But you want to know something? Other celebrities, I'll name 2 of them. I'm not really big on LeBron, but he did create his own school. I forgot the name of the school, but he does have a school that he opened. Pharrell Williams just recently, he's opening up like 2 or 3 schools in his hometown. I said, come on now. I think it's in Philadelphia, I believe.
So Tyler Perry is one of the 7 billionaires. I do feel like Tyler Perry does a lot. I'm not going to say he doesn't. But my issue is why is Oprah, like, okay, I'm gonna just bring Oprah, because Oprah, you can come for me. I don't care. I actually would love to talk to you, honestly. No big deal. But no,
Oprah invite.
Oprah was giving people houses and things. And that's great. That was awesome. But I feel like sometimes if they would just dumb it down to giving people what they actually need, the necessity, it wouldn't even cost them as much as when they be trying to, you can have a Tesla. Oh, you can have a Tesla. Why don't you just make sure that a whole bunch of
you're going to be sleeping from the Tesla if you don't get your, if you don't pay your rent. So
bringing
that
that back
going to be the only thing you got.
You said what, Dre?
Bringing that back to Juneteenth, it's an illusion of freedom. That's what we've always been given. It's an illusion of freedom, and the thought that, like you were saying, Oprah Winfrey giving a couple people on her shows houses and cars and whatnot, and that's in trips and all of that wonderful stuff. It's beautiful and it's excellent. I don't want to take anything from that because it is important and it is meaningful, because like we say, Black Lives Matter, individual Black Lives Matter, and what she has done for those individuals does matter and it is important. And I don't want to take anything from that. But
She has done a lot for people, even with like Katrina. I'm not gonna say she doesn't do anything.
Of course, and that is all beautiful and excellent and wonderful and well. But that's an illusion of freedom for Black people and the masses and for the community as a whole. And I'll even take race out of it for a minute because, like Armani was saying, critical race theory is very important, and race plays an important part of everything we do, all of our interactions, regardless of whether you choose to acknowledge it or not. It has always played a part. That's just how American society works, Western civilization. But it doesn't do anything for Black people. It doesn't do anything for poor people. It doesn't do anything for women, for queer people. It doesn't do anything for neglected communities. It doesn't mean much. It's all an illusion of freedom.
Yeah.
And just like Juneteenth and this mandate of this federal holiday, it's an illusion of freedom, and it's an illusion of some sort of success. And the same thing I was saying about Oprah, I do think it has a piece of importance, and it's important, it's relevant that we talk about it, but that's not enough. That's not it. We can't just stop with that. We can't be satisfied with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do agree with you on that one.
I do want to shout out all of the community leaders in our community who do make sure that people eat.
Yes.
Who make sure people are clothed. Who do make sure that people are getting into homes. There's so many, so many pastors, including Pastor Dante himself.
Yes.
Pastor Jay Offer, who is commenting right here.
Mm-hmm.
With all of these different pastors in our area, Bishop Wright, all of them who have made it their business to make sure that the people in this area eat. And we do appreciate that. And on that level, I feel like that's where I stand. I feel like if the people in their own communities are moving forward around in their communities, I do get it, Armani, that billionaires shouldn't be billionaires. I feel like we really shouldn't pay them that much in the first place. Maybe it wouldn't be that bad. But that's just me. But I do agree that, or I do feel like communities need to take responsibility for communities such as the one that we live in. We live in a community where people are being there for each other. There's multiple pastors who are making sure that people are eating. I know that they've been feeding hundreds and thousands of people since COVID and even before COVID. The pantry at EBC is ridiculous. It's a whole house. A house.
It is.
In the back of the church. A house in the back of the church.
Wow.
So I mean, it on this level and that scale, that we can make sure that people eat, but it's way bigger than just food. Yeah. It's way bigger than just food. It's there's a building in the middle of Glen Burnie that I and my father have been trying to acquire. People need to do those types of things and turn empty spaces into community resources.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Shout out to Leading by Feeding. Yep.
I agree. I think that's a very good point to me, and one that I haven't thought about, that we do rely so heavily. And I don't remember who left the comment earlier, but somebody left the comment that we are the only community, Black people are the only community that have leaders that are entertainers and actors and performers. And I think that's true. And I think that we rely too heavily on, like we were saying, the Black billionaires and millionaires to feed back into the communities when we are the community. And though we may not have the same access to the same millions and billions in resources that they do have, because there's no way that we can access those.
Right.
We do have things within our community that we can feed back into ourselves and help ourselves. Right. You know what I mean? If we pool together our resources and collectively are more willing to help each other, because I do think there's an individualist mindset that a lot of us do have, where we feel like if we pull ourselves up, because we see these Black millionaires and billionaires who have pulled themselves up, we feel like we can do that for ourselves, and there's no need to help our communities. But I do think if we were to develop a mindset wherein we help each other, there'd be a lot that we could do for ourselves.
I agree with that. I definitely
Definitely. I definitely, and I went to a dedication, and it was a dedication back to God. A few females were dedicating themselves to God, and what I got from what everything I heard was the mindset that they were instilling into those women, you know, of and not necessarily always so in depth to that, but if we were taking the opportunity to pull our young children, our young girls, and then our young boys, and we started really putting back into their minds what we were originally taught. And I say we, not even me. I'm not old enough. I mean, we like.
I think somebody had made a comment earlier that we don't we don't we don't appreciate the things that we've had at one point. We don't appreciate our old ways of thinking and our old like old grandma's recipes and things like that. Like we really don't
I
appreciate
do.
it.
I make sure
And I think that there has
I
to
love me
be
a good
more
grandma
people who
recipe.
do. And I truly think you do, Armani, and that's not me trying to
I
pamper
don't
you or
have no
anything.
grandma.
I do think you really have an old soul aesthetic, Armani.
I
You
have an
truly
old
do.
soul. I'll say it out loud and proud. I have an old soul. So
And there's something to be like
There's
respected
nothing
and
wrong with
appreciated
that.
in
That's
that.
what you need.
Yeah, for
There's nothing
sure.
wrong with that. But you know but I really feel like that you know how people used to go to grandma's house on Sunday. They don't even do that.
Yeah.
no.
We
There's
don't
very
have
individualist
we don't
mindset.
care about tradition. Like you said,
Hmm.
we're so individualized.
First of all, we don't
Like
have they don't have respect for their elders. What?
Yeah.
that's
Like,
because they elders need to whoop they behind. But I ain't say that.
but then they're gonna call the police and be like, "This is a child abuse." I'm
But
just saying, like,
that also has a lot to do with bad learning practices and behavioral what mental health and all that other fun stuff that's gone on
yeah,
the Black community for a long time that has instilled in our
It's
great aunts and grandmothers and grandfathers and things that have been passed down to us that we're now learning to unlearn, and
yeah.
that can't be untaught in older people, of course. So there is a cultural divide that goes on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
right. We need to find, if we have to create new tradition to
Hmm.
instill old thought processes,
That's true. That
then
is a really good
maybe that's
point.
what we need to do. Maybe we need to
Yeah,
revamp. Maybe we
Hmm.
need to
Reinvent.
reinvent.
Hmm.
Maybe we
yeah.
need to reestablish. Maybe we need
Hmm.
to take what we used to do and kind of,
Mm-hmm.
let's tweak it a little bit. You shouldn't beat your kids with an electric cord. It's not good. So,
Let's get another family with our children.
we're
Yeah.
gonna,
Ah,
no, don't do that. But we're not gonna beat
sing
each
of it.
other
Good grief.
with flip flops. We're not gonna do that. But but we just need to like rethink and really put into the children a sense of respect and pride, because
Of
I feel like that's
Absolutely.
the
course.
number one thing. When someone has a pride for themselves, when someone has a respect for themselves. So I like old movies. Y'all watch Cool Runnings, right? So on Cool Runnings, when they wasn't worried about Jamaica, when they was just willy nilly, and they seen the Russian team was Russia, we Russian. They took it real serious.
Hmm.
They were good. But once they found the love for their team and their Jamaican pride and they put their Jamaica in it, then they was bomb.com. That's what we need to do. We need to
Yeah, there's so
put the
many
pride
different things
back.
we need to do. There's so
Yeah, there
many.
should be a sense of
I
pride of who you are and where you come
right,
from.
Right.
right.
I
This
mean, it can be something as simple as, okay, so in Maryland, we cares about Old Bay. Like we do. We do love Old Bay. We like
I
crabs and
do.
Old Bay.
I
It can
do. The
it's just find any bit and try to like really explain to your child and send them pull them up, or y'all's little cousins and stuff, because y'all ain't got no kids,
yeah.
but.
But I think also, yeah, I got my nephew. Like I said, I buy him Black history books every single year. That's something that I love to do because it's important. And another thing I wanted to touch on was just in supporting our Black owned businesses,
Mm.
because that's starting to become a trend thing. But one fact that I want people to know is that the Black dollar doesn't only circulates for like 6 hours. So we love
Six hours.
we'll spend with our Black owned businesses for 6 hours, but the rest of those hours, oh, Amazon, Walmart, Fashion Nova, Nike, Under Armour, Gucci, Louis, everything else. But
don't forget
but we
Chick-fil-A,
can't circulate
Wendy's,
for
McDonald's.
all of it. We can't circulate our dollar for more than 6 hours. That is tragic.
The Jewish people, what is it? 7 or 10 hands? Is it 7 or 10? I know
like that. I know
it has to go
triple than
from
ours.
7 to 10 hands. Like if it goes, the man he takes it to the barbershop. The barbershop takes it to the butcher shop. The butcher shop takes it to the laundromat. The laundromat takes it to the. It never comes out of the Jewish community until 7 or 10 hands. I can't remember which one because I'm not Jewish. So I'm sorry, but I know it's some of them hands. It's 7 or 10.
Yeah.
And we need to think like that.
Yeah.
People, we don't have our own grocery store. Why not? We have 7 billionaires. We should been had our own grocery store.
Come on.
We don't have our own banks. That's a lie. We have plenty of black banks. I need you to go online and look up the black banks. You just don't know we have.
Yeah.
We have black banks.
Yes.
We don't have our own Target. We don't got our own Walmart, but we can work on that. But I'm just saying, 7 or 10 hands. Like I said, I don't remember which one, but we don't circulate it. Like I can't believe it's 6 hours, Armani. You just blew my freaking mind.
It's so low. It's a really low number, and
to be honest, 6 hours sounds actually really high to me. I'm genuinely surprised.
He said 1 hour.
I don't because that does not. The thought of like rotating the black dollar, like obviously it sounds good on Twitter, it sounds good on on paper. But like thinking for people to actually do that, I think it's more difficult than it is that people don't want to do that. If we're being honest, I don't think black people have access to the same resources to be able to produce the things on mass scales, to be able to rotate with our community. And I think that's something that we have to start and eventually develop. Right. But I don't think that there's access for us to do something like that. So 6 hours actually is really surprisingly high to me.
It's surprising, but it could be better, to be honest.
Yeah, it should be. It definitely should be.
Yeah. And people complain because people be trying to be cheap and trying to get the hookup and all that. And being a businesswoman, even with life insurance, people really have come to me like, give me a good price or try to, get there. The price is the price. I don't create insurance prices. Exactly. There is called a commission. It's called the NCIA. I don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like,
businesses do not mean discount.
Mm-hmm. And I promise you, they always trying to catch a corner, like or cut a corner. It's ridiculous.
I don't get it. Pay the full price. Come on, like of course.
First of all, I've seen what people pay to go to Beyonce's concert. You will never convince me to give you a discount.
They'll pay $500 to sit right in front of her or to buy some shoes, but will not pay the full price for somebody.
I've seen people standing in a line for some J's.
And I'm not going to disagrry with y'all at all at any angle, because I do 100% agree that there are black people who obviously feel that because that's my brother, that's my sister, you're gonna look out for me. But on the opposite end of that scale, because I love to play devil's advocate, do you feel that there are black people and black business owners who are trying to find that quick come up and not being what's the word I'm looking for?
They don't have integrity.
Yeah, because you have to understand. Okay,
I feel like there are people who OD.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. There are people who OD.
I see what you're saying.
So let's say, for instance, if you are going to be a caterer, so you're a caterer, and I'm just throwing this out. I have no caterer to refer to. Don't look into this. I'm just coming off the top of my head. It was the first thing I thought of. I thought about weddings and I thought about catering.
We're not talking about any of the black caterers in our audience tonight.
Nope. Don't know anything about y'all's prices. You don't want. I ain't been able to afford y'all lately, so I can't even tell y'all what y'all prices are. But either way, so the caterer should check the area and see how much everybody is charging in their area.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in general don't do that. They like to put this, I'm gonna put this price because that's what I'm worth. But if you're not paying attention to your competition, shawty, you're gonna come short because people will shop. That's just what it is. So yeah, people do OD a lot, Trey. Yeah. How about spend $500 on groceries and the electric bill?
Come on.
Oh, yes. He's talking about Beyonce tickets. Oh. I'm like, what? I'm like, Daddy, what you trying to say? But
Yeah.
no. So it's just some people do OD Dre, and you're right, and some people don't give good service. So
Yeah.
I'm a hairstylist, and I'm on a hairstylist site, and I love when people bash the hairstylist who, she didn't do what she was supposed to, and she be trying to charge you for every little thing. I find that hilarious.
That's why I do my own, because like they're OD, like you said. But then also I want to say that sometimes just because the one business had, gave you the wrong impression or made you feel a certain way does not mean that we can't support other Black owned businesses. Because people
Exactly.
make it like a one and done thing. What? So you don't do that with Gucci and Louis and all these other H&Ms? You see how these stores are literally have so many different things that are racist, like low-key racist. Like you may not
And
see
even
it up
high-key
front,
racist.
but they got some racist like outfits that like they had. I saw one of, I think it was like Gucci or something. They had like a chain around a Black person's neck, like it was like trendy or something. I'm like, they literally got us walking in chains as models. Y'all want to support that? Go ahead, but
I don't support none of these companies for the simple fact I'm cheap as beans, and I will buy from Black people,
Cheap
no
as
problem.
beans.
But I'm still cheap as beans. I'm not buying no $500 shirt, and I'm gonna put it in the washing machine and it turn into a doll shirt. No, thank you. I just
yeah,
don't have the patience. So it's
we
hard
gotta
for
be
me to
smart with
buy.
our dollars. We got
Name
to.
brand is I'm just never been that girl. Like if I get some name brand, it's because I bought it at the Goodwill on
Come
accident.
on
Like
now.
I didn't even know that it was name brand when I was buying it. Like okay, it was 50% off. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
Smart
So,
not to invest.
but it's just what it is, you guys. We gotta do better. We gotta get better. We gotta find ways to increase the love in our community, increase the pride in our community, increase the resources in our community, and we just gotta do better. On that note, I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes. What should we do? What should we do now that we have a federal holiday? It took 36 years for a new federal holiday to pop out. That's sad. Just by the way, that's sad. That just goes to show that they're not paying attention to how many people we got in this country and all the different places they come from.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool. Either way, we got a federal holiday, y'all. What can we do now, Armani? 1 minute, Armani.
What do we do now? I would say just keep pushing for the things that we've been pushing for, like the absence of police brutality and being able to just rid poverty out of our communities. Continue to educate ourselves. Like just because we got this federal holiday does not stop us from doing what we're supposed to be doing before that. So we continue to do it. Continue keeping the ball rolling of activism, of advocacy, of community organizing, because that's what we do. The government can the government can do this for us, but we still have to do for ourselves. So
Yeah, I agree with Armani. I think grassroots organizing and doing things within the community and educating and pulling our resources together within the community is something that's very important. And I think that was a very great point in discussion that we had today. I think that thinking about that moving forward and how we can move forward together as the Black community, and even as small as the Brooklyn, Glen Burnie community, Baltimore communities that we are all in. I think that's a really great small step moving forward.
right.
Well, you guys, you know what time it is. It's time for us to go. We love you so much. We hope to see you real soon. It's our final show for the season. You guys were super awesome. We love the comments. We love the liking. We love the sharing. Make sure that you watch us over and over and over again until we come back. We love you so much. And we so super ready to see you again already. So we'll see you guys next time on The Pulse.
Get ready for season
Peace.
3.
Yes. Invite some friends.
Hashtag